Now we all know Xingqui has been out for a little while now. There's an optimal build for him, sacrificial sword, double skill, yada yada, whatever. But a lot of people are actually starting to realize that there's a different optimal build for Xingqui. As many people reach the end game, they understand Xingqi's true potential and how much DPS he can actually do. For example, in this showcase, Xingqui is one of the only characters that I know, aside from 5-star characters, that can actually one-hit the Cryo Registine without using Mona or Sucrose as support characters. Mind you, I'm still using Venti and Bennett for a little bit more DPS, but as you can see, I'm not using the 2 best DPS enhancers in the game, and we're still able to one-hit KO the Cryo Registine. So there are a few reasons why I'm actually making this video. The first one is, we all know Xingqui is featured on the banner, so you may have pulled him and are wondering, is he good, should I invest my resources in him, or you may have finally gotten a couple copies for his constellations and wondering, should I invest in this character? My answer is going to be yes, but for the reason I'm going to show you next. First things first, there are some rumored Electro buffs, now take these with a grain of salt, and these may change, that have a lot to do with the Hydro element. Hydro and Electro together will provide a 20% resistance decrease for the Electro element to enemies, which means Xingqui will play a really big role. Next, Jinx has already been testing Electro and Hydro characters on a team by using this DPS build with the Primordial Jade Cutter. But for those of you who have 3-star weapons, don't worry. He's actually testing out to see his DPS along with Beto to test these future buffs if they do come to light. So now we can get right into the build, and make sure you sub to the channel so you don't miss another informative video. So just showing off my build here, you can see I have about 20.1k HP and around 2200 attack. Now the weapon I'm actually using is going to be the R1 Primordial Jade Cutter, but I will showcase the Harbinger of Dawn, which is what I was using before this, but actually did very great. It's the best 3-star weapon and a great substitute for the Primordial Jade Cutter if you don't have it. Now we're going to be using 2 pieces of Noblesse Oblige and 2 pieces of Heart of Depth to maximize his Hydro damage and his burst damage, and you can see my artifacts here are pretty great. I have 2 artifacts that are no good, like this one. I don't need the extra 9% crit rate. This Hydro damage Goblet is actually really good, and the last one, this one is just straight crit damage with no other good bonuses, which actually could be replaced as well. Now this is a C6 Xingqui, so I do have all the great boosts, and while you guys should try to pull for C6 as well. Now my skills are level 10 and level 11. Both the DPS I showcased in the beginning of the video can be increased because the max level for these, without jumping into too many resources, is level 12. Now lastly, let's go into my total attributes and why I actually use the build I do. So I'm getting around 75% crit rate and 180% crit damage. And finally, we're getting around 81.6% Hydro damage bonus. Now for this DPS build, everyone already knows that crit rate and crit damage is the way to go. If you have the Primordial Jade Cutter, approximately 60 to 70% crit rate is optimal. Anything more can go into crit damage. Now why Xingqui is going for physical DPS now is because when you reach late end game and when Venti is released in 1.4, energy recharge becomes a lot easier to obtain due to Venti's passive abilities and all your characters just producing a lot of reactions, which is why I recommend this build. Now if you do want to stick with the energy recharge build to produce a lot of reactions, be my guest, go ahead, that's also a great build. Now when I switch to the Harbinger of Dawn, for those of you who have 3-star weapons, don't worry, I do lose 500 attack approximately, but my crit damage goes up by about 50%. Now this will show you that you do not need the Primordial Jade Cutter to do crazy tons of damage with Xingqui. I can almost one-hit KO the Cryo Registine with just the Harbinger of Dawn. Remember, my talent level is level 10. If I got it to level 12, I probably could have one-hit KO'd him right here. Now in terms of teammates, you probably want to pair Xingqui with either a Cryo character to freeze enemies, or the best being Pyro character like Hu Tao, Diluc, or even Klee just to constantly proc Vaporize. However, in the future, having some of these Electro characters might actually be great. So there you have it, everyone. Now remember, this is just my opinion. If you want to build your Xingqui with energy recharge, you can go ahead. I used to build them that way until I switched to Harbinger of Dawn. If you guys liked the video, make sure to subscribe, shoot a comment down below, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys next time.